How's it going, everyone? My name is Lorenzo Iacomini, a.k.a. The Speedy Guidi.
And my name is Cody Lewis, a.k.a. the LA Car Spotter.
You're watching Coming in Clutch. Guys, we're talking about Car Week and the recent news that's been hitting the news.
The fan. The recent shit that's been hitting the fan.
Roll the tape.
Roll it! So, this is some really sad news.
This is sad news.
I'm not smiling.
This just came out a couple weeks ago. 2021 may be the last year for Car Week, folks.
Oh my God.
And
Car Week as we know it.
I say that with a very heavy heart, but it's kind of our fault. I'm going to spell it out for you guys. Why?
It's a collective hour.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about
There's a lot of people involved in hour.
Whose fault it was and kind of what's going on. Like, everyone's pointing fingers.
We're gonna point some fingers.
We'll point some fingers.
Some motherfucking fingers up in here.
But basically, the way it's going down, folks, is that Carmel is being bombarded by people like us with cameras, car enthusiasts, very loud and obnoxious cars, donuts, just tomfoolery in general in the streets, and the little tiny town of Carmel by the Sea cannot support that.
They cannot handle it.
So the board of Carmel, it's a 5-person board. One of my friends is on it, actually. So I got some
insider information.
That's what I was looking for, that not many people have. And I talked to him last week about it, and he has some very interesting things to tell me. So basically it goes down like this. Carmel doesn't want the car show anymore because it brings too many people and it's too much like mayhem for them.
The thing is like
it's much
Car Week is now literally like a week, if not more, of multiple events every day, and they're all stacked up on top of each other, and a lot of them are private events, some of them are public events, some of them are paid events, some of them are free. So it's like there is so much stuff going on in what we know of as Car Week. So,
and it didn't always used to be like that, right?
Yeah, because I was going to say it's hard to say that they're going to be ending Car Week, because there are going to be those events that will never end, and they'll keep the tomfoolery away.
Yeah,
but they may make them harder to get into. They may make them at a different location or something.
Right.
So it's been...
Dude, the car show's been going on for 70 years. This last year was a 69th annual car show.
Yeah. Too big to fail. 69.
I know. Good year.
Yeah!
But, so, this is the way it goes down. There's a news article that came out that everyone's posted all over Instagram. Basically, the way it's going down, that there's a big vote
in the Pebble Beach Times.
In the Pebble Beach Times.
I don't know if that's
I don't know what it's
periodical. But it was like
the Carmel Chronicle.
It was a local newspaper. I like that.
The Carmel Chronicle, and basically this board of the board of Carmel. It's 5 people, and they're voting to cut the car shows in half by 2021. My friend is one of the board members, and he voted against cutting the car show. So it's 4 against 1. They all voted to get rid of half the car shows. Whether or not what car shows are being cut and which are going to stay is completely like
up in the air.
It's totally up in the air.
We don't know yet.
We have no idea.
We still have this Car Week to go through. They're still letting everything from this Car Week go.
Everything's booked. Everything's paid.
It's like too late to cancel all that stuff. But then the year after, they have some time.
They got some big changes. There's a big argument that they won't touch a thing because Car Week brings in so much revenue for the town of Carmel and Monterey. It's like insane. And we have some big numbers for you guys later coming up. But I find it hard to believe that they're going to cut half. I know that they'll definitely keep the Concours d'Elegance because that's been going on for 7 years.
They can't, yeah.
Like, that'll always happen.
That's one of those events that they can't take that away.
No.
They can only make it harder
way.
To get into and more exclusive so that it deters people from trying to get
Absolutely. I think all the auxiliary car shows, which we'll talk about, will be cut out. Because there's a lot that have been added.
Yeah.
So, that are just
whose fault is it really is the question that everybody wants to know.
Yep.
There's a few people that are basically on the chopping block, on blast.
Yeah.
But it's like it's more than just one person or like one particular event. It's more than that. It's a collective of these things that are just continuing to happen and to get worse. And we're kind of seeing that, this is like a super low key little beach town. And it's great that CARWEEK brings in a ton of money, but I think, just based on the populace, they're good on money. I think they should be all right. They'll survive.
No, you're right.
But the truth is that, there are people that when this event happens that are doing donuts where they shouldn't be doing donuts, or that are revving their engine where they shouldn't be revving their engine, or driving recklessly, through a neighborhood or through a town that's so quaint that they can't handle this kind of stuff. So there are people blaming them, and then there are people blaming guys like, I would say,
don't say names.
No, I was gonna say like guys like myself, but I don't want to. I want to say that I want to admit that I'm guilty for being part of this, but I try to be responsible. But it's not just the drivers, but it's also the people that are filming the drivers and the people that are exacerbating and poking the bear. Basically, like, if you take your camera out, it's going to influence somebody to do something that maybe they wouldn't have done if there wasn't a camera out, because they're trying.
Multiply that by 100. There's 100 cameras out.
Yeah,
and you're in a Lamborghini.
So there are some people blaming the drivers. There are some people blaming like the kids and the leapers and the spotters and the people with their phones out. And then there's, other than just random people having cars and random people having cameras, there are the influencers whose job it is to actually create this content. So, we have to figure out, what type of responsibility do these people have to the community to show it, to like set an example,
Totally.
Because now they're not setting a good example. They're setting a bad example.
Right. I'm going to bring up
what we want to get through.
I'm going to bring up 2 points. One, we talked about this before. You can't blame the drivers. You can't blame the cameramen, the people with their phones out, because
which one is it? The drivers or the cameraman?
It's absolutely the driver's fault. If someone's doing donuts in the middle of the road and he blames you, like, oh, I kind of like people are egging me on, dude, you're an adult. You totally have the power to not do a donut.
You should be use that as your excuse.
Yeah, you're mature enough to make your own decisions. You bought the car in the first place. You had enough money. Like, you're obviously a mature person. You can have some self-control and not do that. The people who are filming, and they're all, dude, they're just kids just trying to be Insta-famous. Like, you can't really blame them.
Some of them.
You can't really poke fingers at them.
If I was a little kid and I had, when I was 10 years old, I didn't have there weren't cell phones for kids.
No.
Kids didn't have, there were cell phones, but there weren't
but we
people
talked
with
about this
cell
too.
phones and cameras in their hands and they had point and shoots and stuff, but it just wasn't like everybody could just reach into their pocket and take out a camera.
Yeah.
And these days, besides everybody that's trying to be Insta famous, there's kids that love cars and they're trying to take pictures of cars. So it's obvious that there are going to be people that take pictures of incredible cars, but it's totally up to the drivers. The driver's responsibility of whether they put their foot down on the pedal or not.
I think
for sure.
I also think that a large part of why Carmel and Pebble Beach has gotten so big in the last 5 years, which I've noticed, is due to these influencers. And I'll put some names out because I'm not gonna blame them, but I'm gonna say I've seen the videos of their CARWEEK videos and why it would spur some kids to want to go
in a good way. These videos.
There's a video that immediately comes to mind. It's Seen Through Glass. He's a very popular vlogger, and he put out this video 2 years ago of him just sitting on the corner, in the median of Carmel by the Sea, and he was like, I'm going to sit here and see how many sports cars, supercars I see in the next 10 minutes. And he saw amazing cars, and the whole video, he's like, you guys have to come. This is the most insane weekend of the year. Everyone's got to come. dude, that video has like hundreds of thousands of views, and everyone watching that, I guarantee these kids were like, Dad, we have to go to Pebble Beach next year. You get all these people from LA, and then you got the vehicle versions of the world.
That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
But you're getting people who haven't gone in years past and just go solely because they like you can get a lot of cars and a lot of content that quick, and like that's not what Car Week's about. That's not exactly what it started about. Like it's
I want to like,
you know what I mean?
But I'm kind of like on the other side of the fence where, yeah, maybe it's not like what Car Week is necessarily about from the beginning, but Car Week was like an upper echelon shows and really like exclusive events and stuff like that. And because of like how many people show up there, I think that that's such a beautiful thing that like Seen Through Glass showed how incredible the event was and how it brought together all these people that loved cars and brought all these amazing cars to one place. And it was basically like him being like, if you're into cars, this is like the Mecca. You have to make it here at some point.
Right.
And because of social media, you know, like everybody was able to see that. So I thought that was like a really great thing that is what Car Week is about. And, you know, it was kind of like a gift and a curse. It's like all these cars are so amazing. All these people should be here if you're into cars. But if everybody that's into cars shows up at Car Week to see all these cars, that's way too many people.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure. And I think people are going to car show. They're going to Car Week for the wrong reasons now, and they're not respecting the place that they're at. And that's a big part of it, guys. I've been going to Car Week my entire life. Like, you have to respect the place you're at. Like, Carmel is the quaintest and tiniest city ever. And to like unleash all these influencers and all these little kids with cameras and donuts in the streets, and like Carmel had to call like a huge police force to come in and like stop the mayhem. There are all these photos online of like, it's just like the city engulfed in like smoke and like red and blue lights. It's horrifying to see. And I have no problem with people all coming together because of cars, but you have to do it in a very respectful way. And you like, if that's done in LA and we like shit on the streets here and whatever, like that doesn't matter. But like Carmel is its own little place. It's stuck in time and it's beautiful. And the people there have been there their whole life. Like, you shouldn't be doing that.
So like, but back in the day, it was like a few nice little smaller events.
Yes.
And because of these people making it so popular, they started making more free events or more easily accessible events. And that's how it went from being like big shows like Pebble Beach Concourse, where it was like big in terms of the importance, but not in terms of like a million kids and stuff trying to be there. But now they have all these smaller shows that are easy to get into. Right. So now they have events for those people that
totally.
So
and
I think that's a huge part.
Dude, some of the worst things in the world have happened because of good intentions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to bring up, we have a case, like, this is the perfect example of why Car Week is getting too big. We're going to talk about this car show called Exotics on Broadway. It was first called Exotics on Cannery Row. The people that put together are huge influencers on Instagram, and they know, like, they've been in the car business for a long time. They have awesome cars, and they bring together the most amazing hypercars of all time. The first time I went to Exotics on Cannery Row, I literally shit my pants. I was like, this is insane. Yeah, I had to go home.
It's difficult to like find a toilet or like somewhere to hang out around there. It's a lot of people.
It was a lot of people, but
a lot of people.
It's a perfect example. We're not pointing fingers at them. Those people are all great. They're like very knowledgeable. They're awesome, but it's a perfect example of a show that made Car Week. It's making Car Week too big, and it's bringing the wrong kind of people in a lot of ways. So, Exhaust on Broadway, we found the statistic that 35,000 people came to that show last year. That is according to whatsupmonterey.com. That website has like a bunch of stuff based on the car shows and like other scenic stuff you could do at Monterey.
And like why 35,000 people? Because it's a free show.
It's a free show. Just
open to the public.
It's outside of Pebble Beach.
You don't have to get like a parking pass or anything. You just find a place to park and you just walk up.
And you
walk up in the show.
And they have phenomenal cars like you would want to go.
Totally.
But the problem with 35,000 people, it doesn't sound like a lot for like Los Angeleans who are watching this right now.
35,000.
Nothing. That's like a small football game. But
That's like
dude,
a backyard football
let
game.
me give you some other statistics. The population of Carmel, a small town, is 4,000 people. That is tiny.
What?
The population of Monterey is 28,000 people.
What?
So those two towns, that one car show alone, Exotics on Broadway, brought more people than the entire population by itself of Carmel and Monterey. And that is insane. Because you take those 35,000 people who are just like Exotics on Broadway and they're like, hey, let's go to Carmel by the sea and go check out some influencers. You pump 35,000 people into Carmel and it does not work, dude. That's a joke.
Yeah.
You're packing yourself
blow up
like
a bubble
sardines.
full of glitter, and then once the show's over, you pop that balloon.
It's insane.
Blow up a balloon of glitter, and it
It's
explodes,
Yeah.
and then you just have 35,000 people running amok in the streets of Monterey.
It's pandemonium, to say the least. But guys, do you
crazy,
realize like those
bro.
numbers?
Really
Like that's a lot of people.
Think about
And
that for a second. Like, imagine if one day in LA they just added an extra 15 million people to LA. They just doubled the population one day just for one event.
God, it would take me 16 hours. It would take me 16 hours to get home from work,
Right?
as opposed to taking
Traffic
15 right
wasn't
now.
already bad.
Yeah, but like that's a huge problem because that hasn't really happened in the last couple of years. But I've seen this happen over these years. Like these free shows have just been bringing a lot of people up that wouldn't usually come otherwise, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely
It
insane.
reminds me of one of my favorite movies called The Beach.
Please tell.
With
I've never even heard of this.
Leonardo DiCaprio. You never seen The Beach?
I've never seen the beach.
All right, so
Life's a beach.
life is a beach, and I'm just playing in the sand. No, but for real, like, all right, so it's in. We're gonna have to cut and put in the actual beach name, but the name of the beach escapes me. But I went to Thailand. If you've ever seen the movie The Beach, it's like this random secluded beach that these people found. They were on vacation and like they were just like, we shouldn't tell anybody about this random island beach that we found in Thailand or wherever it was in the movie. And like they tried to keep this like little society, and then once other people found out about it, they all came and they ruined it, and they all blamed it on one guy. But basically, like, they had this awesome, amazing place that they could enjoy, and then once it was brought to light into the public, it was destroyed. And I went to that beach in Thailand, and it was a mockery. I mean, in the movie, it looked so amazing because there was nobody there. But when I went there, it was just like I felt like I was in Times Square. Like it was just like
dude, this is kind of a theme.
There.
Every time you show up somewhere, it gets ruined. Maybe we should be kidding. I'm going to be pointing fingers at you. It's your fault CARWEEK's over.
By the time I hear about it, it's already too late.
Right. So I want to give you a quick little snapshot because I've been going to CARWEEK my whole life, and like I've seen the progression, dude. I've been going to CARWEEK since 2003. Like CARWEEK got me into cars. I went to Concours Italiano, and it's like was a small show, and there were a bunch of cars, and like I only went because the car show on Sunday. Like that was it. And like Saturday, like you walked around, saw some concepts and this and that, but it didn't get that big. And like I've seen, especially in these last like 5 years, it's just like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And like it's partly to blame because of us and all the people we've been saying before and everything, but like we talked about this before too. I went to the car show as a kid and I vividly remember seeing a Bugatti Veyron drive down the street, and it was going towards the lodge, and I like ran after it. It was the first time I've ever seen the Bugatti Veyron. I was like, oh my God. Like I was shaking and getting chills thinking about it. And I took my Kodak disposable camera and ran after it. And then when it parked in front of the lodge, I took photos of it. And then I took those photos, and you know what I did? I developed them, and then I took those photos and I put them up on my wall in my room, and nobody saw them besides me and like my friends that came over. Now, let's just juxtapose that with the kids now. They take that, they put it on Instagram Live, everyone sees it. Oh my God, go to the lodge. Everyone sees, like, there's incentive to put it online because you'll get the hits, you'll get the likes, you'll get the engagement. But me and you, we went to these car shows.
Yeah.
We took photos for ourselves.
But just because of those social media channels, not only are people trying to get famous, but then it just like it sparked, and now everybody knows where it is, and you release the location. You're like, yo, I'm here.
Right.
This car is here, and like you said, just like that, 20 people show up, and they're all outside of one car, outside of a restaurant or somebody's house or some event or something, and it's mobbing a car.
It's almost like you're taking the photo just to get the like, right? And that's, dude, we're both to blame for that. Like, half the photos I take at car shows.
I'm not taking the blame, but I'll say I'm guilty of it.
Like, dude, the majority, I think 75% of the cars I take at photos I take at car shows are to be posted. Like, okay, this is a good photo. I'm going to take a photo and post it. Back then, like, I took the photo because I appreciated the car, and I was like, wow, this is like an awesome looking angle, and this is for me. Now it's all for everyone else, and that's where the problem lies. Because like you're taking the photo for the wrong reason. You're taking a photo just for like getting the likes.
And you can tell the difference. Like we put down here like private events versus public events or free events. You know, and the private events are expensive, and they're expensive partly because of exclusivity, because they don't want just everybody paying a $20 ticket and getting in and having it just be like a mob scene. But like one of the biggest things is exclusivity, but they're also much higher end events. You know, they're much classier. Right. Well, when you go to these events, and you can give us a better explanation of like the difference, but when you go to these events, like you can tell the more expensive, like professional or like, what would you say? Like the like expensive private events, exclusive. Most of those people don't have their cameras or phones out or like anything like that. When you go to like a free show, or you go to one of these shows where you pay $20 to park and then you just walk around, like every single person has their phone out and everybody has their camera out, because they can go in.
Right. No,
so the experience is totally different, because when you go to the free shows, it's cool and all, but it's a crowd, and those are the masses. And then you go to these cool private shows, and that's where like all the really good stuff is.
Yeah, like the Pininfarina house we went to last year was sick.
Well, and it's also just like there's food, and like the hospitality is great. So that's why I go to CARWEEK now. Is to go to the private shows. It's so cool. But
not everyone can do that.
But the thing is that there are people that can't do it that still try. So everybody is rampant sneaking in all over the place. So
for the quail,
all
quail's
these
a great
expensive
example.
events, the quail is literally a $900 ticket or $1,000 ticket.
It's absurd. It's absolutely
it's literally $1,000, so that most people are just like, fuck that, I'm not going. You know, right? Because the people that matter are gonna just be like, yeah, whatever, $1,000, sure, whatever.
And all the best cars on planet Earth are in that car show. And if you went to one car show a year, you go to that, you're fine.
So there's rampant sneaking in, which is I'm not gonna tell you how, because and then I'll give away my secret. But
you are the problem. No, you got in fair and square last year.
I did, and I'm guilty of sneaking in because, like, $1,000 is ridiculous for a ticket. But
absolutely.
But yeah, these events, there's a lot of people trying to sneak in, so it's become more and more of a problem. So they're beefing up security, and it's just like,
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have like an answer to like how to fix this whole CARWEEK problem,
or that we're not.
But like we're not part of it, right? But because everyone does in a certain way, but. Like, I think a large part of these problems is that there's like too many kids around, dude. Like there's kids that shouldn't be there. And I'm saying that because I know that because I was one of those kids. Like, I was a kid running after the Bugatti, like, dude, that's a bad look. Like this kid, like, I'm like,
yeah, you were the kid that used a fake ID to drive a McLaren or whatever.
Absolutely
and
did.
Took it 90 miles an hour and
ruined
passed
it.
a cop, and what a
But
jerk.
hey, I learned from that experience. I'm not going to do it again. It took that one experience to learn it and like to change the way I do things. Dude, hypercars, cars that are $2 million and like little snotty kids like don't belong together. Like just because there are beautiful cars in the world, you want to show them doesn't mean like everyone should see them face to face. Because dude, like I've seen at so many car shows, exotics on Broadway is like you see kids like leaning on these cars, and the parents like take a photo, and like they're getting their fingers. Like, dude, that's not
all
okay.
the kids that are listening. You're just throwing salt in their wounds. You're just
take it from a guy who's older, who's done it, guys. I was there.
Skateboard and making them skin their knees.
But I was there. Like, there's a correct way to go about doing this, and I learned from my mistakes, and I don't want anyone to make those same mistakes.
Grow up, kids. If you want to see cars, Lorenzo says, grow up.
Grow up. These are big boy toys. I'm not even that big of a boy. You gotta treat these things. You gotta treat these things like expensive things. And there's always a quote like, "This is why we can't have nice things."
It's true.
That is why we can't have nice things. In parentheses, CARWEEK. And that is why.
I mean, maturity and respect is a huge thing when it comes to CARWEEK, and that's what most people that are destroying CARWEEK lack. And some of that is because of age, which is not their fault. Some kids, they see a fancy car and they go, yay, race car. And like, that's how I was. And it was awesome. And I would have touched every freaking car. But like, if you don't want like kids touching multi-million-dollar cars, then kids can't come to these events, which is sad, but it's true.
You must be this tall to look at this car.
And then there's adults that have the lack of maturity and the lack of respect for the town and for the events, and they have all the forewarning in the world and people saying this is what you need to not do, and then we will continue the good stuff. And they do it anyway, and it's up because of a lack of respect and maturity.
So
it sucks, man.
Guys, there's no solution to this. I think it's the nail's pretty much in the coffin. The final vote's going down in May, and there's pretty much nothing we can do about it to change those people's minds, because I think it's 4-1 right now, and they're going to win, and it's how it is. And if CARWEEK does in fact end next year, that's really sad. I mean, we'll have the concourse, but that's fine. I'm still going.
I'm definitely still going.
Play your cards that you'll come with me.
Like CARWEEK might end, but some of these events that go on during what is now considered CARWEEK are not going to end.
Right.
You know, it's
the racing.
It's great because all these people are in one place at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have all these ancillary events like Legends of Autobahn and all these classic stuff and a million auctions and stuff, because like all these people are in the right place.
Right.
But, you know, it just may have to spread out and split up and, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Which is fine for me, but it may not be for, like, the kid or person who's coming from the East Coast out to the West Coast, and all they get is 2 days of shows. Instead of a whole week. But
well, hey, that's good.
Our hot take.
And I also think that's time. Can I conclude with my little blurb that I wrote?
Yeah, blurb it.
Blurb it. So, people, in conclusion, it is everybody's duty to show respect to the city of Carmel. Don't poke the bear. Don't run out into the streets. Don't rev your engine. Don't speed. Be an adult. It's more on the people with large followings to promote a positive space. Respect others. Go to the show and measure your enjoyment on moments, not photos or videos of the cars you see. This show has always been great because of the people it attracts. Passionate and knowledgeable people who know where the limit is and not to cross it. Bring it back to its roots. Don't ruin it for the people who have been going for over 70 years just because you want 1,000 likes on your dumbass photo. We are better than this. And with that,
we thank you.
My name is Lorenzo Iacomini, a.k.a. the Speedy Guidi.
And my name is Cody Lewis, a.k.a. the LA Car Spotter.
Guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Send this out to people who you think are to blame for CARWEEK. Or not. I don't care. Just share it.
Just share it because people need to know.
People need to know.
And we're out. This has been a public service announcement from the guys at Coming in Clutch.
Cool. Way to go.
Fantastic.
Do you want to do a little trailer right now for that episode? Be like, guys, we have birthday.
Yeah, totally. They took our dirt.
Guys, they took our dirt. They fucking took our shirt.
All right, so should we like stand in front of a car?